In today's video, I am joined by Lauren Lowsong. We chat all about what it's like to play for Carl Cox, what it's like to model for Liverpool FC, and also what she's been up to during lockdown. It was a really fun one, and yeah, Lauren's a top girl, so it was great to have her on the podcast, and I'm sure everyone is going to love this. And this podcast is sponsored by myself, SYNTHO Electronic Music Hub, helping people take their music to the next level. So if you're interested in knowing more, head over to the website or head over to Instagram for more information. There you go, in the studio.
Yeah, my little box studio, tiny.
How's life been?
Good. Yeah, good. Are we recording now, by the way? What?
Recording.
Yeah. Action. Yeah, life's been fine. Getting by, it's fucking hard, isn't it? But I think with all the recent-ish news of things starting to hopefully open up and the roadmap and everything, it's given everyone a bit of hope, hasn't it? And just something to kind of plan towards, which has been a lot better than kind of waking up and thinking, when am I next going to DJ?
Yeah, I think it's actually exciting again.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm convinced this is the thing the scene needed, a big break.
Yeah, probably did, yeah. Bit of a refresh.
Yeah, now events are just selling out in seconds, aren't they? Everything you see goes up. Part just went up today, actually. I'm not checked if that's sold out yet, but I expect it to be. So, Jeremy,
what did you say? Sorry, my AirPods cut off then.
So I was saying, every event that's going up seems to be selling out in seconds, and just the genuine hype for party events back.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Literally, people are just so ready to go wild, aren't they? Which is a fucking good thing for us, like. But
I know.
It's gonna be mad.
I've said to my mates, like, surely people are going to run out of money because they're buying tickets.
Yeah. But you know what, though? They've had, like, I think we think we're the only ones who aren't, like, earning money, but some people are really making good money at the moment. So I think they've all got these savings and they're just spending them all on tickets, which is good for us, like.
People literally spent a year of not spending anything on clothes, food. The amount of money I've saved on food. That's like a weekly outgoing buying food on the weekends. Like,
I know, honestly. Go for dinner and stuff. Silly how much you spend.
So during lockdown, you did some teaching and making a lot of tunes, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so I kind of, like, last year I just thought, what am I gonna do? Like, and I need to still be making money, and I need to obviously keep my brain ticking, and I can't just sit here moping around thinking, when am I next gonna DJ? And like, I had a bit of savings and stuff, but I was thinking, like, what can I do? Like, I don't want to, like, work for Amazon or something. Like, nothing against people who do, but I just thought I just want to do something with, like, me passion, and me trade, like what I'm good at, what I've been training to do for all these years. So I thought, you know what, I was thinking about doing some sessions anyway, because a few of my good friends have been saying to me, like, oh, we'd love to learn how to produce and stuff. And, like, one of my really good friends, Chris, was like, listen, just start teaching me, you can practice on me, because I was a bit nervous at first. I was like, oh god, I don't know, like, even though, like, I've hosted, like, I've teach, like, hundreds of people before for, like, Red Bull and Native Instruments and stuff in classes, but I used to get really nervous beforehand, and, like, I built up all this like, anxiety of, like, teaching people, even though it was just like a one-on-one. But yeah, my friend was like, oh, just practice on me. So started some lessons with him, and he loved them, and he was giving me great feedback, and it kind of gave me a bit of positivity and, like, motivation to carry on then. And then I advertised, and then I was just, like, really busy doing them all the time. I had loads of regulars that were coming back and stuff, and it was amazing to see, like, a progression in a lot of them as well. Very, like, really rewarding. Like, it's such a rewarding thing teaching people. Like, I know you've been doing it yourself as well. I'm sure you've seen people grow, and it's really good to kind of reflect on how far they've come.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for people that are aspiring, because so many great artists have offered years and years of knowledge condensed into 2-hour lessons.
God, yeah.
So it's been a great time for that, I think, for the people trying to learn to make tunes.
Yeah, definitely. I said to my partner, Sean, you know, I think I've been making tunes for about nearly 10 years now, maybe 9 years. And I said, I wish back then there were so many artists that I loved teaching lessons. Like, it's like, you know, I just think when things go back to normal, hardly anyone's going to be doing it because everyone's going to be busy again. I think people really need to take advantage of it. Do you know what I mean?
I think
Um,
people have said it to me, but I will carry on my project. But a lot of other artists, like I'm like, they're amazing. I was like, I wish I could have learned from them and saved
yeah.
so many years of messing around. I think it's
Oh
cut
God, yeah.
time down massively, hasn't it?
Definitely, because I think when you're learning to produce, you know, it's so broad and like you can literally, you know, it's not like you'll learn things that will be useless, but it's more so for our kind of sound or the sort of stuff you want to make. You might not need to know everything, and it's better to know the things that you need to know well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
And
funny.
I think,
Me and Alfie had this conversation yesterday. It's almost like the technicalities sometimes don't actually help you make the tracks. You almost need to
yeah,
get it directly from someone that makes the tracks because it's not really all this, how does a compressor work? How does this work? And I think for when I was learning, and probably the same for you, you have to go and sit through the 90% drivel of how a compressor works.
yeah, exactly. I know, and it can be boring at times, but I think when you start to hear the results is when you kind of I don't know, you want to know more. And I think lockdown has actually been really good for me. You know, I've actually learned a lot production wise as well because, you know, kind of knowing how to do something and knowing how to teach it is two completely different things. And knowing how to talk about something, you just kind of learn it more in depth, which I feel like has been really beneficial for me. And I feel like my productions have gone better in lockdown, definitely, and let me mix it and stuff. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
only
I think I agree totally. The teaching thing, I don't think you ever fully understand something that you explain it to someone else. Even
mm,
now, there's things that I did yesterday. I did a video on how to make a Sweedly style track, and then it's funny because I'm like helping other people, but it's actually helping myself because I'm like,
yeah,
that's how he does it. um,
yeah,
but yeah, I think teaching is such a good way to learn more yourself because you understand why you do things. Then
definitely, definitely. And like I get kids who come to me and, you know, they bring projects to me and I open them and they're like, I don't know where to go from here. And like some of them are really good, like really advanced students who I'm teaching, and I think, fuck, what if I don't know what to do next? You know what I mean? Because you know, we all get in that situation ourselves when we open a project of our own and we're like, what do we do next sometimes? And like I've been like that with my students, like, and it kind of just flows. But that whole experience has been really good for me because it's like I'm constantly under pressure, like needing to kind of get a result quickly. Do you know what I mean? And it's just been really good for me,
yeah,
and obviously for the
it
students
helps
too.
in your own tracks because if someone comes to you and says, "What do I do next?" and you sort of got to start coming up with solutions that are. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
always associate making music with kind of creative flow, and unless you're in the zone, you can't be done. But when you're doing a lesson, if you can't be arsed and you've got a 2 hour lesson, you've got to just
No, exactly,
pop in.
exactly.
Oh, I've got a lesson, sunny outside. I was doing lessons last summer a lot, and when it said sunny, it's like, right, I'm gonna have to try and get in the zone here. And I think it's kind of good practice for when you're working on your own music and you're not in the zone, and just learning just to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Just get it done, get it finished. I think that's where I've struggled a lot over the years. Like I think, you know, a lot of people just leave loads of like folders of unfinished music and it's just not good. And I think you just need to get into the habit of finishing stuff because if you don't get to them final stages, you're never going to improve on them final stages because you're always going to be stuck in loop mode or just stuck in like, you know, making half a track, which isn't a full track. So you kind of need to get to that final stage and just practice arranging as much as you can. And yeah, it's obviously an advantage when you can play your music out as well, which we haven't been able to do lately. But
Mm.
I think like we kind of know from experience what works on the dance floor now.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't actually make much music for a few months because I don't know, I just didn't see a direction for where it was going to get played. I honestly
Yeah.
thought that it was going to be next year we'd get clubs. I'm surprised
Mm,
to get them back
mm.
supposedly this year. I was kind of ready for a year of just teaching, chilling, not preparing for the dance floor really. So it's a pleasant surprise, I would say.
I know. To be honest with you, people say to me, "What have I got coming up this year?" And I've got some great stuff coming up, but I don't sit and dwell on it because I just I don't want to get my hopes up. Like there's still a part of me that is like I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic, but I'd say I'm quite realistic, and I don't, and I'd rather not get my hopes up, but then be disappointed constantly. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think I'm the
um,
same. I think I see things from a pure perspective of I can look I
yeah,
know what the positives of. If you look at everything from too positive, it's just unrealistic, and obviously pessimistic is nothing worse than being a pessimist. But I have to hold myself back a lot of the time at the moment because people
yeah,
are like, let's go and do this, and I'm like, well, my mum was like, let's book a holiday like a month ago, and I was like,
yeah.
are you stupid? Are you stupid booking a holiday now? But it's almost like I was being a realist because it was well too soon to be thinking about that. And then look, like only 2 days ago, they're like, you can't go anywhere all summer. So then it's kind of like, I
Oh God.
told you so, because it's like the negative way to be. But yeah, I think I'm the
So
same.
is that what they've said now? You can't go on holiday? To be honest, I haven't really been keeping my eye on the
I
news.
don't think they've actually changed anything. I think people just thought it was net relaxed. I think it was going to
Yeah,
be, I think it's still till July now. And they're saying, I think they're just announcing it fine 50 grand if you try and go away or 5 grand or something. Because, people
really.
working in Dubai and then they're going to Dubai.
Yeah. Oh, sunning it up in Dubai.
No,
All the influencers.
I think fair play to him as well for that. People that were
Yeah.
complaining about it, I thought just only because you're sat in.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded being in Dubai, like, to be honest.
I know, but yeah,
Uh,
that's the same for me. It's kind of hard to get excited about what's to come when I still feel like things could be taken away just like that.
it still feels a bit uncertain, doesn't it? And I don't trust the word that comes out of Boris Johnson's mouth either, so
I
we'll
know.
see.
So
But
you
yeah.
producing for 10 years. I would love to
Yeah.
know how it began and what came first, the DJing or the production.
So DJing.
Did it?
Yeah, I've been DJing since I first got decks when I was like 11. Used to mither my parents for decks. And I actually used to have like a little karaoke machine in my bedroom, and me and my neighbours used to I used to play CDs and like record them and like record my voice, and used to be like Radio Loz 24.7. Like my sister will absolutely piss herself at that because she used to have this tape somewhere of me like doing this Radio Loz thing, and for some weird reason I used to do like an Australian accent. It just used to come out of nowhere. I used to think, good job I'm not a radio presenter, because I think I'd be doing all sorts of accents. So yeah, it started from that really, and I just, I've always loved music. I've got an elder brother and sister that are quite a bit older than me. My sister's like 12 years older than me, and my brother's like 18 years older than me. And they have always been like heavily into dance music. My I think actually all of us, I met Sean in Sankey's nightclub. My sister met her partner in, I think she met him in town, and my brother met his wife in Cream in Liverpool. So like all of us like have met someone through like going out and stuff. And yeah, my brother and sister were just always really into Cream. Used to go to Cream all the time, like Subliminal. My brother loved like Carl Cox, and he's got like this box of like hundreds of like tapes and everything from what they used to record on the radio. So yeah, it's kind of just been injected in me from like a young age, because when I was growing up, they were just hammering the dance music, like playing music, blasting in the rooms. And my sister, when I was a baby, my sister used to be like, go on, dance for me, dance. So it's kind of just embedded in me, I think. Like it's all I've really known. And like when I went to school, I used to, when iPods first came out, like sometimes we were a bit naughty and we had the iPods on in maths and stuff, like as we were working. And a lot of my friends used to say to me, why have you just got full on dance music on your playlist? Why have you got no like pop music or nothing with words in? And I'd be like, I don't know. And they were all like, your iPod's like a gym playlist all the time. But this is what I fell into, and I think it's definitely because of my brother and sister. And then I went to uni in Manchester for like 2 years. I actually did like a sports management course in Manchester. I didn't do any research at all into the course. I just heard the word sport and I was like, yeah, I'm up for it. Like I just stupidly wanted to go there just for a good time, but that's what I got, and I don't regret it, because moving away from home gave me that level of independence, and it also led to me kind of thinking a bit differently and like branching out, and it led to me taking opportunities to DJ. I had a lot of friends who would be doing like house parties and stuff, and like I'd play on their decks, and then I ended up buying some more CDJs off a friend when I was like 18. I think he sold me them for about 500 quid for like two CDJ 800s and some Uri mixer, which I've actually still got in my mum somewhere, collecting dust. So yeah, I just was practicing all the time. Just locking myself away in my bedroom, just hammering it, and and then basically LOLiFE started when I was 18 because a friend of mine saw an advertisement in a basement club called Red Rum in Manchester. Do you remember Red Rum?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So they were looking for promoters to run events, and my friend called me and was like, why don't you start your own night? And I was like, you joking me? I said, like, I'm not even like a proper DJ. Like, I don't want to start my own night. And she was like, no, Lauren, just go for it. Just go for it. And you know what? I just thought, fuck it. Like, why not? And it all stemmed from there, really. Went from little basement clubs with just my friends, and then obviously word of mouth and more people coming and stuff. And that kind of give me the playground to kind of experiment with my sound and play what I wanted. And in these LOLiFE events, I used to play all night, like 5 hours sometimes, and I'd literally play like a bit of like warm up deep house, like a bit more tech housey kind of stuff, and then at the end I'd always finish on like 90s house music. And that was the thing, like the last hour or half an hour I'd always play 90s house. And that's kind of still what I do now at LOLiFE. I kind of just do what I want, play the cooler stuff, and then if I'm playing the last set, I'll just if I'm playing the ending set, I do love throwing in like a bit of 90s. But yeah, so that's still in me now.
I think it's always interesting. A lot of the time, it seems to be family that have played a big influence, and you always think that if they listen to something else, I wonder if it would influence you. For me, I still try and figure out why do I like electronic music, but I was drawn to it at a similar age in like year 7. I remember it was like garage kind of, even like Scooter. I remember I was like, oh, it kind of drew me to.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck can I like this? I still don't know what it actually is that makes us like this music.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we're literally wired to like it. Like even people who like it baffles me because like people who like EDM music, like cheesy EDM that me and you would never play, and we'd probably think, oh, I don't like that. But it's crazy the way like different people are just like tuned to different music, and it fascinates me. And I think sometimes, oh yeah, I like underground music, but then I think, is it actually underground? Like, is the music I like underground, or is EDM actually underground and I've got it wrong? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad, isn't it? Just perspective.
Yeah, because it baffles me how a lot of people. I remember like a lot of my friends now that come to clubs. When I first started listening to house music, they'd be like, "Oh, it just sounds the same, just noise beats." And then I think a lot of people seem to get older and kind of understand it a bit more. But maybe that's because they go out to parties and start associating it with the music with partying. I think it's probably a big thing. But yeah, I
Yeah,
was really drawn to it at a younger age as well. But I can't think of what it is. But I think it's just in general. It just sounds quite. I don't know. I think it's. I like the idea that there's always something more to discover, and you can kind of
yeah.
search for it, which is kind of what drew me to it a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that there used to be like an event literally when I was 11, and all the like Scousers who were around the same age as me will know of this event. It was called the Frenzy. Basically, everyone used to go there. We were like 11. Everyone used to cop off there. I sound about 80 years saying cop off, but them like first parties when everyone was just be like pure necking and everything. No, it was like disgusting. I'm like what were them drinks that used to make your tongue go blue? Did you ever have any nights like that in Manchester? No, when you were like 11?
When it's like the underage raves thing, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah, it was one of them. Yeah, but like me and my mates used to love them. Like we used to love like, getting all done up for this night, and then hearing like dance music and having a dance and like meeting new people and stuff. And I think that's just, I think that must be, I'm still kind of living that moment because every time I step into a club, it's like new and exciting, and you're intrigued by the music and everything. And it just, I don't know, I just couldn't sit in an office and do like a normal job. I just don't think I've got the personality for it. I feel like I just get bored too easily, and I think this job really suits me.
and were your brother and sister buzzing then when you started DJing and all these gigs and stuff.
Yeah. My brother and sister are just, they're so supportive, and they're so proud, really, really proud. My whole family are just brilliant, like really, really good. My sister literally, I think I took part in a DJ competition in Liverpool for G-Bar. I don't know if you ever heard of G-Bar, like an after hours club. And I ended up winning this competition, and like my sister used to bring all of her friends, like I had all my friends there, and she'd constantly like whistle and she'd go woo woo woo, and she'd literally shout, like every time I could hear her in the crowd, like I'd have my headphones on, I'd just hear woo woo and I'd be like, fuck's sake, Lindsay, and she'd be like, that's my sister, that's my sister, all the time. Oh, funny, makes me laugh. And we skit now because she, like, when she comes to watch me, she's still like that, she's still like, that's my sister, that's my sister, she loves it. But yeah, when I played in Space in Ibiza, I think that was like a huge moment for not just me but for my family, because as I say, my brother had been collecting Carl Cox's tapes like since he was younger. My sister had like grown up listening to Carl Cox, and my brother and sister had been to Space years ago. They always used to go to Ibiza and stuff. So for me to play at Space on that terrace for Carl Cox, and then when he came out during my set wearing a LOLiFE t-shirt, and my brother and sister saw him behind me before I'd even seen him, and I like turned around and I was like, fucking hell, like my heart just went, like, and my brother and sister were screaming, I could just see them like the front like that, and I had like a couple of my best mates come out all the way from Australia to watch me, like I had Sean there, I had all, like, you know, loads of family and stuff. And it was just like mad. I mean, my brother still says now, he says that was the best night I've ever had in my life. Like, and you know, it's just an amazing feeling. Do you know what I mean? To have them feeling so proud and do something you love and have them there to witness it. It's just amazing. Love
Yeah,
it.
there's something special about your family and really knowing they're proud of what you're doing. I think it matters more
Yeah.
than anything else. But yeah, that's something I was going to ask you about the bass gig. How did it come about? Because I always think someone like Carl Cox, I reckon the younger generation don't appreciate the level of, I don't know, like stardom. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
I always think that, wonder what I saw a picture of Shonky the other day. I think it was on his
Yeah.
Instagram. I was scrolling to his Instagram, and it's him and Carl Cox at Kappa Future. I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, it must be mad just chatting to him.
Yeah. It is.
So
To
tell
be
me,
honest. Sorry, what you say?
sorry, I said, so yeah, never mind just chatting to him, but playing for his night as well. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So basically, that came about because so I used to be with Safe House Management. I don't know if you know that. You know, basically Safe House Management used to look after just loads of big artists. They used to look after Carl Cox, Yusuf, like just loads of people. But yeah, the management company ended up falling through about a year and a half, 2 years after I'd been with them, which was, you know, pretty shit. But it was still, you know, massive, and you know, they did a lot for me and they were brilliant to work with. I was looked after by a guy called Connor, who I love to bits. He was my manager for a good few years. And we're still really good friends now. Like I literally play on Warzone with him every day. Like I love him to bits. But yeah, he basically put my name down to play on Space, and I didn't know whether it was going to happen. And then I remember getting the text. I think I actually woke up to the text saying like, you know, you're on, and I was just like, fuck, like, because I mean, when was this? I think it was 2016 maybe, so what's that, 5 years ago. So I was like 24 or something at the time, and I was still kind of finding my feet a bit within the industry, you know what I mean? Like it kind of felt like I was ready for it, but it was just a massive deal for me to play this, as it still would be now. But yeah, I was just like absolutely over the moon, like just couldn't wait to play it. And then, you know, when people play for Carl in Ibiza, you actually stay with them in a villa. So I got to stay with him in a villa with him, Joseph Capriati, with Lynn, who used to run Safe House Management, and with my manager, Sean, come along. And, you know, me being the scouser that I am, I rocked up in me pink curls. Obviously, because I thought I've got to look like a prince. when I'm DJing. So I had these pin curls in, and you know, had them on the flight and everything. Pin curls, for people who don't know, is like basically like rollers, but without the roller, it's just like your hair like twizzled in and like clipped. So I look like something from like a 60s set or something, and I like rock up to this villa, and literally like Yusuf, Carl Cox, like, you know, loads of important people are sat around this table, and I walk in with these pink girls, and they just turn round and they were all screaming, laughing at me, and I was like, you know, the Scousers arrived, and Yusuf was laughing his head off, and he was like, "Oh, you're such a Scouser with your pink curls in." But that was, it kind of like broke the ice a little bit for first meeting him properly. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I couldn't. You know, I think, honestly think Carl Cox is one of the most lovely, kind, caring gentlemen, and one of the nicest DJs I've ever met in my life. And I honestly think the reason why he's been so successful and he's stayed where he is and he's such a legend and he's got that legendary status is because he is just so nice, and he's obviously really good at the same time, but he's so warming when you meet him, and you know, when you speak to him, he really listens. He's not someone who just like, you know, he really listens, he really cares, he really talks to you. And you know, felt like I knew him just from speaking to him a few times, and his tour manager is lovely as well. And yeah, my manager Connor said to me, "I'll bring a LOLiFE t-shirt for him." So I brought one for him, give it to him. I'd thought nothing of it, and then obviously that night he was like, "Listen, I'm gonna come and watch you play." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "No, but I'm really gonna come watch you." I was like, "Okay, thank you. Like, I'd love that." And then yeah, when he turned up behind me dancing, I think Sean actually tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Carl's here." And I was like, and I just went, fuck. And I was actually on BR TV as well, and you probably watched the moment when it all unfolded. And I just remember I just turned around, I was just like, I was like, fuck now. Deep breaths, deep breaths. And I remember he was like talking to someone and he was like, "She's good, isn't she? Like, she's good." And I was like, "Thank God for that. Like, he thinks I'm all right," type of thing. Um, and yeah, it was just like an unbelievable moment. We ended up chilling with him. I think we were there for like 3 nights or something. You know, there's a lovely pool. With me and Sean had like our own like little mini villa, and yeah, it was just they had like they had like chefs there and stuff, and it was just, yeah, it was mad. It was like, yeah, it was just one of the best experiences. Really, couldn't have
I'm actually
had a
quite,
better time.
you know. When I knew you played the gig, but I didn't realize you went to stay with them, which must have been like surreal, but also very nerve wracking the build up to it.
Yeah, God, yeah, really nerve wracking. I remember the night that I played in Space, and I woke up in the morning, and I went to get a bottle of water out the fridge, and he was just like in the fridge getting a bottle of water, and I just turned around to Sean, I was like, "Carl Cox is in the fucking kitchen there." Like, what the fuck? Like, Carl Cox is in the kitchen getting a bottle of water. Like that. Oh God, honestly, like I was like, you know, play it cool. I don't get starstruck, like I really don't, and I think that's something to do with, because DJs sometimes, like big DJs, are like little celebrities, aren't they? And I think when you're used to meeting them, like I just don't really feel like I get that starstruck anymore. But like when I met Carl, I was like, fuck, he's a big deal. Like,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
one. I think he's. I'd be like fucking hell. I think it's just his whole aura and his.
yeah.
He's a real legend. It's not just a. He's not just
Oh
like
God,
10 years. He's done it for like 30 years, if not more.
he's amazing, honestly.
But
I
what?
love the way he gets on the mic as well. Like no one does that anymore, but like he gets away with it. Like if I got on the mic, everyone would be like, "Shut up,"
Yeah,
but he gets on the mic and everyone listens.
yeah, I think it adds so much to his thing. It's his oh yes, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
What happens then? So the next day, I'm presuming most people hungover, aren't they? Is the film
Yeah.
right the day afterwards?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people come back and have a bit of a villa party, and I'm not a lightweight, but I'm not really an after partier anymore. Never really was massively, but as soon as the sun starts coming up, like I'm like, oh shit, I need to go to bed. But yeah, they all come back, I think, and like had a few drinks and that, and they were all quite rough, and I think a lot of people might have got off like the next day or 2 days later, but we just stayed out for a few days. But it was mad because obviously like nobody was allowed to know where the villa was. So like obviously have my brother and sister that were staying in Ibiza somewhere that might have been near Playa d'Embossa, and wherever this villa was, we were not allowed to get taxis directly to there, like for obvious reasons, because I think they'd been robbed before and stuff, and you know, a lot of high profile DJs stay there, and you know, they don't want people to know where it is. But we used to get picked up from Pikes, and like we used to get like I think it was like a private driver would take us up to like where the villa was. I couldn't tell you where the villa was, even if someone asked me, because I literally walk out my front door and I can get lost. So you know, they've probably invited the best person because I'll never find it again. But yeah, so my brother and sister and my sister-in-law, who were obviously at Space with me, like after I'd played, a funny story actually that I need to tell you this. So my sister's boyfriend, Paul, he'll kill me for saying this, but he was, I think he gets like a bit of a reaction from like drinking beer, and he can get like a bit of inflamed skin, go a bit red. So my sister is like a medical rep, and she was like, I think she thinks she's a doctor sometimes, and she was like, you need antihistamines. She was like, you need antihistamines for the inflammation. So this is the night that I was about to fly in Space. And she goes, right, let's get you some antihistamines. Didn't have any antihistamines, and she was like, sleeping tablets have got antihistamines in, so you can see this is going. So she was like, take a couple of these antihistamines, you'll feel better. So we took a couple of them, these sleeping tablets, bear in mind. So later on, when we were in Space, my sister's boyfriend starts feeling really sleepy. Like, I wonder why. He's like sat on the wall near Space, and he's like, fuck, I'm so tired, like I could just fall asleep. And I got, like, I was just laughing my head off. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. I thought, as if she's given a sleeping tablet like on a night out for Space. And she was like, fuck, what have I done? Like, I'm gonna have to take him home. Like, I'm gonna have to take him back to the hotel. So like, and bearing in mind, my sister was having the night of her life. She was like, oh, I'm gonna have to take him back to the hotel. So she took him back to the hotel, and my sister-in-law Fiona, my brother's wife, was like, oh, let's wind her up and say that we've all gone back to Cox's villa. So I was like, you're cruel. I said, but go on, go for it. So she was like, Lynn's, we're going back to Cox's villa, we're all going. So my sister was like, fuck off, are you? I'm coming. Bearing in mind, her boyfriend's like nearly dead because she's drugged him in the bed. And she's like, I'm coming. She was like, I'm ringing a taxi. Apparently she had a taxi outside to come to the villa, and Fiona was just winding her up, and we were like howling in hysterics in the club. But she was literally like proper raring to go. But yeah, we still like laugh about it now, because we like can't believe she gave him sleeping tablets before a night out. But the fact, because she was so excited to come to the villa, and she was like, oh my god, I'm coming to the villa. We were like, you're not really. Oh, it was heartbreaking, but yeah, it was a funny story. Like,
And is he alive now, Paul?
yeah, he's safe and well. I think we just need to take some actual antihistamines out with him next time instead of drugging him. But yeah, I think they're like these Spanish sleeping tablets as well, which are really strong, like really strong. Like, sometimes my sister and that will buy them to bring them over here because they're really good, because she struggles with sleeping and you can't buy them here, put it that way. I think the Spanish can just get what they want to with the counter, some of them.
The odds were stacked against Paul that night.
What'd you say?
Odds were stacked against Paul to survive that.
yeah. God, he had no chance, and he was getting left in bed as well. He could have been dead in the morning.
So what do you actually think of Ibiza as a whole, on that note? Is it a big part of you, or just another place that you tend to play sometimes?
It's a massive part of me, to be honest. When I was 18, I actually went out there for the summer. I think I first went there when I was 16, 17. Yeah, I was 17. One of my best friends were living out there for summer. I went over to surprise her for her 18th birthday, and I just fell in love with it. And I just used to go to all the Wales projects back home. So that was like the most, hardcore event I'd ever been to, was Wales project. We used to go to Cocoon, and back then I was like, what the fuck is this music? This is so heavy. But then when I used to go to Ibiza, I really fully appreciated Cocoon and Amnesia, Ricardo Villalobos and everything from like when I was 18. Ended up staying out there for like an extra couple of weeks with my friend, and then the the year following, I think it was when I was 18, first year uni, I did the summer there, and actually like picked up like loads of residencies and stuff, and that's kind of where my career really began. And I used to play a lot with Hannah Once used to DJ out there. It was 2011, and we both used to play in Viva every Sunday. I'd do the warm up like with me deep house, and she'd play like her like more bassy kind of sound like later on. Yeah, we'd always play on the West End, but I think that was just amazing for kind of getting me that experience and shaping my sound and just opening my ears to a kind of richer sound and something. Liverpool is massive for house music, and always has been, and it's got such a great culture and heritage about house music. But I think when I went to Ibiza, it was just like a whole new world had opened, and I just think it really helped me with my journey. And I've never looked back, and I think I've been there almost every year since, and still to this day, like when I get a gig in Ibiza, it's like I'm buzzing for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just got this. I know people say Ibiza's gone downhill, it's too expensive and all this and that, but I tell you now, if you go to Ibiza with the lads, or if I go with the girls, you're gonna have a fucking amazing time. Do you know what I mean? You just know you will. Like, the music's great. Obviously, you got to know where to go and who to see, but even if you go to, I remember when my sister come over, she was like, my friends are going to see the Swedes. I don't like the Swedes, but I went with her and I still had a good night. Like, you just have a good night wherever you go. Do you know what I mean? It's just, everyone's just there letting their hair down, and it's just, there's no place like it, I don't think.
Yeah, I think without going there, it's hard to find a club night which is actually carefree, because I think I always use the explanation that when you go to Amnesia, it's kind of like people don't think of this as the end of the night at the end of the night. They're kind of just there to party for a few days, and you kind of
Yeah,
get energy in the room, I think, and especially
yeah,
because you can keep playing till the end. Whereas in the UK, I would say on average, the last half an hour of a club, you can often, people are kind of like thinking about what time they go in, all this stuff. Whereas that's Ibiza, I think it's just like a no thought of anything that's in the real world.
yeah, exactly. That it's like a bit of like escapism or something. Like,
That's the
you
word.
kind of just lose yourself. Yeah, I've lost myself quite a few times there. I'm sure you have yourself. Still looking for part of myself that's there. But yeah, what an experience. Like, even the Zoo Project, like, what a place, like an abandoned zoo. Like, some people who might not even like that music, what an experience Zoo Project is. I still love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Love the fact that you can just dance around a seal pit and stuff. Like, you just can't get events like that anywhere else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've only been once. We did a takeover of an inside room. It's like the cave thing. I don't know what it's called now, but yeah, it was insane. I was so taken back by how good the venue was, because
Yeah.
I think Zoo Project was massive, wasn't it, back in the day? And it seems to have really had a resurgence from my point of view, anyway. So
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it'd just be full of, I don't know, twats, like simple,
Yeah.
full of proper cool people, like
Yeah.
no dickheads. The music was unreal, and the actual venue is incredible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
So good. Is that actually a zoo? Is it in the day? I don't know. Is it just an abandoned zoo?
I don't
I'd
think any.
say it's just abandoned.
Yeah, I don't
When you went, did you dress up?
know. We did.
You too cool for that?
Think so. Barely anyone was dressed up. Zoo
Were they?
me was just like them first pictures I used to see of Ibiza. It was zoo. That was the thing. Like, people seem to go, what we did is we did the boat party at zoo, and then we went back to we did the after party at zoo. But there was, no one was dressed up, which kind of.
No.
I
Oh, you didn't do zoo properly then. You'll have to go back.
would have a lot of dressed up,
You have to go back dressed as a lion. I've got some photos of me. I'm not even telling you where they are, 'cause you'll probably dig them out. But there's some photos of me dressed up, and I think we all made our own outfits. So I had like a leopard print, don't even know what it was, like just a bit of a rag or something, just like tied around me with all like, oh, like lines on my face and something tied in my hair. Like, we proper went all out, like
yeah,
proper went for it.
adds to it. I actually wish we'd made more of an effort now. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Again, right, you've got that many things to worry about when you go to Ibiza. I think dressing up as an animal. Uh,
Yeah.
list. So do you think the early momentum in Ibiza carried across to the UK then from those West End gigs?
As in, like, from me playing, like, my energy type thing.
When you came back to the UK, the gigs in Ibiza were contributing towards the growth of you as an artist, or do you think it was completely
Yeah.
just more of just a summer experience?
Oh, it 100%, you know, helped with that because I'm trying to remember where I even played now. I can't even remember what I had for me dinner last night, but I played like Ibiza Rocks. I had a residency at Bay Bar, playing like the sunset set every night. Used to play for like fucking 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes. Used to play Kenya Beach all the time. Used to play Viva. I did a couple of gigs at Plastic, played for Head Candy. You know, I used to proper love Head Candy music when I was younger, when I was like 16, 17. So I used to play all that, and you know, coming home and kind of being able to shout about that, and you know, I think it earns a little bit of respect in a way because you've gone over and done that, and I kind of tick something off in my head. But when I come back, I think probably a lot more promoters would notice you because they know you've done that. It's a real experience. Like just living in Ibiza on no money is an experience. You know, fucking hell. I think I must have lost about 2 stone when I went there because we just hardly ate, or we just ate shite when we were there. Just absolutely skint, and like I I I fucked up a bit because when I went over, I think I went like towards the end of May or the beginning of June, and it's just like there's just no jobs when you go at that time. So I was just really scraping money together. I had to get help from my mum and dad when I was over there because I was really struggling. Um, and yeah, I just kind of took every job that I could get. But yeah, it definitely helped with my career. It was something to build on, and you know, I just think DJing to different crowds and different situations and different venues, even if you kind of sometimes in your career, you know, to earn money, you might have to play stuff that you're not so comfortable with playing. But I think all of it is a learning curve, and I think all of it is good for you in some way. And I think playing like 6, 7 hour sets is good for you. It's certainly not good for your ears, but you know, it's a good bit of experience to have under your belt, I think, and you know, you're only going to get better from it. So I do think it definitely helped with me and my journey.
Yeah, I think I would love to have. I'd love to be able to say that I did that. I did. Longest I did in Ibiza was a month, 2 years in a row, but we didn't have a so it wasn't really. It wasn't a season in the slightest because we were in a villa. But I would love to have done what you've done and played regularly all the time and get immersed in that lifestyle because I don't know. I feel like I can't really do it now on that same level because I think it's the innocence of going when you don't really know that many people. Whereas now, if we went,
Yeah.
you kind of know everyone in the clubs. You know all the. It's not the same as as a young aspiring DJ who doesn't know anything, kind of making things work.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely still do it, but I think the stage you're at in your career, maybe you wouldn't want to do it like from the bottom, like as I did, and you'd probably go straight in with like a residency or something. Do you know what I mean?
And it's
But you
so
could
hard
still definitely,
to know where to
yeah,
because
yeah, and as you know, the cost of living over there is just ridiculous as well. It's just like, yeah, it's just hard.
I think a lot of people I speak to, like Danny Miller and stuff, they absolutely love it still, and they've done it for year on year. He's only moved
Yeah,
back because of the pandemic, but I just feel like now, I don't know. I would love to do it if you had a proper residency at Paradise or something. If Jamie Jones is listening,
yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
yeah,
Slide this in his emails later.
you know. I think my ideal summer would just be being in the sun for 6 months,
Yeah,
just and then being able to make ends meet by playing records, which is an ideal
yeah.
situation. But when you're playing all them gigs, you must have had no right income when you're playing all them gigs, or was it literally for the
You'd
pay?
think so. A lot of them I was playing for free just to get my name out there, and then other ones was like €10, dribs and drabs. Like, I actually played in some Scottish bar. I played in so many places. I even tried to what's it called? You know, the people who kind of get you in the bars who would like work on the streets. What's it called?
Raps? The
Like
rap.
a rep, yeah. Yeah, I was like a rep for like the shittest bar in the West End. I think it was about that big, literally about that big. I think it had about 2 years in it, and I used to have to try and get people to come in this bar. And I remember this night I was like the most hungover ever. I think I'd been to Space or something the night before, and I was like feeling wonky as fuck. And then I had to do this like really long shift. I remember the guy said to me, like, every person that you bring in, you get €1. And I used to think, fucking hell, €1. But like, if you got 10 people in, that was €10. So that was like all right money back then. So I was like, all right, yeah, sounds like I'll get these people in. So I remember I started getting people in. And this guy, this like bar, the guy who ran the bar, he's a bit of like a he was just a bit of a fraudster, because I got loads of people in, and he'd be like, no, I got them in, so you can't have the money for it. And in the end I just went fuck off and walked away. Thought, you can get to fuck, I'm not standing here doing that when I feel like shit. But yeah, you do some shitty jobs when you're over there, and like I did not live the high life when I was over there. Like, we had this apartment which was okay, but I mean, there was loads of cockroaches in the kitchen, like tiny little cockroaches, and it still makes me sick to this day. Like, so if I went back to Ibiza now, you know, obviously, like I was a kid back then, and I was like paying buttons in this apartment, but I'd want to do it properly. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've earned my right to stay in nice hotels now, because I've done like all the shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the same for me. As in, I just couldn't physically go and stay in like a shit,
Yeah.
yeah, with grime on the walls and that. But it costs a fortune. I think to get a half decent apartment in Ibiza town, I think you're looking at plenty of money. Put it that way.
Yeah, God, yeah. I
Um,
mean, it'd be great to just have loads of money and just
I know.
fucking stay where you want, maybe one day.
So the next thing I want to ask you about was releases, because you've actually released some really sick labels in Lazar Hosh and Rutland, because they were ones that I collected in the start, and I was like, oh, had a little look on your Discogs before, and I actually forgot about the Rutland CD.
Yeah,
I'd love to know how that came about, because they're not your typical labels where you kind of ping demos off to. They're quite refined labels, I would say, and
yeah.
be more interested. I'd be interested to know how they came about.
So Rutland's, funnily enough, actually, I'd say the connection there to DJ Stu come from that Space gig, because you know, when Carl Cox came out, I actually put a video on my Facebook, and I was playing one of Stu's tracks, one of his Stu Ward tracks. Have you heard of the Stu Ward label, like the harder stuff? So I was playing one of them tracks. You know, I've loved DJ Stu for years, like yourself. I've collected Rutlands for years, and you know, like a lot of the connections that we make now is through Facebook. And I think Cynthia actually tagged DJ Stu in the video of me playing the track, and was like, you know, Stu, like, Lauren's playing your tune. And I think DJ Stu messaged me and was like, oh, thank you. And I was like, oh, like, I love your stuff, like, keep sending me it. And I was like, you know, I might have some music for you as well. And he was like, oh yeah, I'd love to listen to it. And then yeah, sent him a few tunes, and yeah, he loved them. Yeah, he really liked the tracks. And then obviously released on House Puff, which is his label as well. So yeah, I'd say that was like a massive, you know, massive stepping stone on my career. And I definitely would love to do another EP for him. He keeps asking me for another one, but you know, it's like you kind of want to spread yourself out a little bit and like do little, you know, I don't release a lot of music, so when I release stuff, I'm trying to like do stuff on different labels now and again, but like I definitely want to do more stuff for him. Definitely, I love Stu a bit, and as I speak to him like every week, like he is just like Carl Cox. He is a fucking legend. Like, he's a proper pioneer. Like, he's proper professional. You know, his tunes that he makes are just out of this world. I think he's probably my favorite producer. I just think everything he does is good, and that's hard to come by.
Yeah,
And you know, he mixes well as well.
yeah. The reason I brought them up is because it's similar to me in terms of like what you mentioned about the labels. It's trying to get that Venn diagram to cover quite a nice
Hmm.
variety of labels, where
Yeah,
it's cool labels. When I say cool, you know what I mean, like the more underground labels, then also being on the ones that get more exposure. And it's trying to get that kind of bit of everything. But like you
yeah,
said, the same in terms of you don't want to do the same label kind of again, because you're kind of just attacking the same audience, and it's kind of want to spread it all around. But it's like a game of
yeah.
chess, isn't it, when it comes to choosing the right labels.
It is. You've got to you've got to be selective, and you know, the saying of the power of saying no is just as important as saying yes, and saying yes can be quite detrimental to your career if you choose the wrong kind of route. And I think, as you know, as an independent artist, like working for yourself, I know we have like advisors sometimes and mentors or managers, whatever, who can like guide us a little bit, but it's only you who kind of makes that final decision and like decides where you want to be and where you want to go. And I think that is and can be quite difficult for a lot of DJs. But I think I've always had quite a clear idea of where I want to be and where I want to go and who I want to be kind of associated with for who suits my style, if that makes sense, which I'm sure you're the same.
Completely. I actually would say it's something that keeps me up at night sometimes. I feel
Yeah,
like my taste is actually, it's funny when we were speaking before about like what makes you like different kind of music and stuff like that. I actually am really drawn to more obscure, minimalistic kind of wonky kind of sounds, but I also know the costs of making that music and DJing it. It's not going to propel your career at
yeah,
the same rate of where if you just kind of make things a bit more accessible. Not saying I don't like more accessible music, I do, but my taste always seems to gravitate towards a bit more underground stuff. But I also know
yeah,
the limitations that brings if you're trying to be the most underground, cool DJ to walk the planet. Because at the end of the day, if you want to treat it as a job and a career as well, I think you've got to be kind of find a middle ground of what's going to work to a bigger
yeah,
audience.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it like I was literally just thinking this before, like as I was like tying my hair up, I was thinking like what we do is a career and it's a business, and it's kind of hard to think of it as a business sometimes because you enjoy it so much and it just feels so natural. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really feel like I should really be doing this and this to get this amount of money and blah blah blah. Like it hardly ever feels like that. I don't know. It probably does for some people, but I don't know if you're the same. Like sometimes you kind of just go with the flow and just don't really think about all that side of things. But you probably should be thinking about that side of things, and that's probably where you'd need a manager to think of like proper strategy. And I do think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to strategize more and better, and especially having my partner Sean is like, she's like a strategy expert and that's what she does for a job, like marketing and stuff and in events and all that, and she's constantly saying to me, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this, and I'm just like, oh whatever, like I just want to make tunes and play music, do you know what I mean? But it's probably not the right attitude to have really, but I guess that's what's kept me um I don't know, like a little bit unique and not like trying to be like everyone else. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of just taking my time with it a little bit, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
completely. I think there's moves that both of us could make. We could both tell each other what moves we could make to make our career
Mm,
accelerate much faster
yeah,
than we're doing. But it's not necessarily what you want to do. But then it's like you say, I think the pandemic's made everyone realize that wait, we're actually a business
yeah,
because no one's at the end of the day, it's all well and good having the best tunes in the world, but if in 10 years you've got nothing left because you're no longer
yeah,
current or have got no appeal, then it's like you now
yeah.
40 and you've now got no career. So it's kind of finding that balance between the two. Um,
And a big thing for me as well, like I want to have kids one day. So like, you know, between me and Sean, like she said like, oh, she'll carry the first child or whatever. But something that's in the back of my mind is like, I can't tour and be pregnant. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of, I'm putting my career first before having kids as well, which is difficult because I'm like, when is going to be the right time for me to carry a child? Like, is it when I'm a bigger DJ than what I am now, or is it soon? Do you know what I mean? But I just think like I wouldn't want to have a kid anytime soon because I know that I just want to put me all into my career. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the one downside of DJing is there's a huge trade-off between
Yeah,
getting success in the industry and having a life. I would go as far as saying a life elsewhere because
yeah,
people think it's the best job in the world 'cause you get the weekend, but I've loved every weekend being able to do what I want, go and do, because people forget that every
yeah,
Saturday is when your mates are actually off work. So if you're then going
yeah,
somewhere else, you've not actually seen someone all week. Sounds like DJ's complaining now, doesn't it?
yeah,
There's a big trade-off people don't think about. And if you obviously smash DJing for 20 years, 40, whatever, then you've kind of then like, right, now's the time. I mean, some people it might be the right time, but it's kind of a long time to wait and put things on hold.
yeah, definitely. definitely, like, as you say, like, I've had 10 years of just saying no to birthdays and weddings and parties constantly. And I've just kind of been used to that now. I'm used to not having weekends anymore. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the time that we've been off, we haven't been able to do much, but it is nice to have your weekends. But you kind of just adapt to it, don't you? You just get so used to like being busy on the weekend and having to say no to stuff. It's mad. Like, you just kind of adjust and adapt. I suppose it's just like people who work nights or whatever. They're out of routine with normal life, and we are too. I feel like I come alive in the night time. It's probably why I'm suited to my job as well. I'm not really a morning person. Well, I get up early, but I don't get up as early as some people do. I'm not like a 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock get up person. Don't know whether you are.
I am actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a
That,
feeling you were.
it's, it's funny because I actually hate being out of routine. So I find it really
Yeah.
hard to sometimes play gigs, especially if you're staying sober and stuff, because I think drinking and stuff gets you in the zone and partying. Then when I
Yeah.
play late plus sober, and you kind of do feel tired then.
Yeah.
It gets easier with time, I reckon. I reckon you can get used to it. I feel like
Yeah.
I tell myself, like, as you get older, you'll be better at staying up late at night. I'm like telling myself I'm still a kid. I'm like, I need to sleep. But
No,
yeah,
I'm like that. I mean, it doesn't get easier, but I'd say you just got to learn to be able to nap. Like, I'm quite good at being able to nap. Can you nap?
that's the biggest. I spoke to Lucas yesterday. I messaged him and he was like, "Oh, I've just woken up for a nap, turned my studio on now." I was like, "I need to learn to nap. It's a massive skill in life that I've not mastered." And he was like, "Yeah, but you kind of feel like shit after it sometimes." But I said, "Yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing is, you can work all afternoon, have your nap, then work again after it because you've had a nap and you're not tired." Whereas I
Yeah.
get go absolutely full power for 5 hours, then by 2 p.m. I could happily just finish off for the
You've
day.
done it.
But if I had a nap, I could probably go again for a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be napping, definitely. It's like them gigs that you get, or maybe you've got a couple of gigs in a night, and fucking hell, like, sometimes, like, I remember I had a gig in Dubai and I had half an hour to sleep, and I was like, do I go to bed or do I just stay awake? And I cannot function on no sleep. So I had to just lie down and even just pretend I was sleeping, because my body would like freak out if I thought I've gone a night without sleep. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm quite fortunate to be able to kind of I'm one of the people who can kind of just sleep anywhere really. But yeah, it's definitely an important factor. You need to just be able to nap as and when you can.
That was my theory actually. And actually, because I've had a few drinks on Saturday, the first time in ages, and I was knackered. I was like, I need a nap. But I kind of told myself, even if you just lie there and don't actually fall asleep, but have your eyes closed and relax, it's better than nothing at all.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, we've all been there, wide awake, just resting your eyes. You're like, have I actually been asleep? And then you're talking to yourself, and you're like, am I asleep? And you're thinking, I definitely wouldn't be thinking this if I was asleep. But yeah,
I need to
funny.
nap. So looking forward, is summer looking good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Summer's looking great. Yeah, it's all obviously UK based, and I've got you've got like 4 shows in Amsterdam meant to be happening, but I mean, I don't think Amsterdam are in the same situation as us. So I mean, I don't know when they're going to be opening up, but a lot of the stuff, I don't think it's been announced yet, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say what. But like a couple of the festivals in Amsterdam, you know, I'll do quite a bit with like the PIV guys as well. So yeah, I've got some stuff with them, and I think I've actually got a couple of bits for El Row as well. I think one of them's in Amsterdam. Yeah, I think it was meant to be last year, and then they've moved it to the end of this year. I had like a circus show in Amsterdam as well, which is, I think, has been moved back. Um, and what else have I got? Yeah, I've actually got a gig which I can't mention yet, but for a club in Ibiza, which I've never played before, put it that way, and has been on my bucket list. And I've got that gig in September, but I don't know whether it's going to happen. And I'm just telling myself it's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen because I don't want to be disappointed. But yeah, if it happens, I'll probably die happily.
I think I'll have a guess what it is, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, don't guess.
I think them Ibiza ones. That's what I was going to mention actually when talking about that. I think them super clubs, them, the select few. It's just like they're the ultimate goals, aren't they? No matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
The ones where it's like, dream.
Yeah. I've actually got I've got a residency in High. I think it's like a residency for Steve Lawler's night. I was meant to be playing some shows actually. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but whatever. I was meant to be playing a couple of them like back to back with Rossi and stuff. So I mean, but I just can't see super clubs opening at all. I think it's going to be a case of just outdoor things. So whereas Zoo Project maybe like DC10 Garden, and yeah, there's the places that have outdoor spaces. I think they're going to be the ones that open, but I think the super clubs are just going to be shut, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we have to big up the UK government for the amount of vaccines actually in the UK.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday, I think it's like 50% now or something crazy.
Really?
I don't know it was 50, but it showed some other European countries like 2% of the population have had a vaccine.
Mad.
Germany, I think Germany's a complete mess.
But was it Gibraltar that have like 100% rolled out 100% vaccines? I'm sure it's Gibraltar. Someone sent me a message yesterday. Oh no, I think Darius Rossi might have posted something about Gibraltar saying that they rolled out 100% of the vaccine, and I think like there's one case of COVID in a hospital, like one case. But
we can't be 50% for any COVID watchers that are probably going to go sick. But it was something
yeah,
well ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what makes the European gigs still kind of just because of the vaccine situation and all that.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine by next summer. But yeah, I think a lot of the shows and everything are going to be UK based at the moment, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for the likes of me and you, because we're from the UK and it's got such a great scene. But I think a lot of the DJs who live in maybe Berlin, Amsterdam and all that might struggle a little bit. But obviously they can just fly over if it's for work purposes anyway, can't they? But yeah, I think, I don't know. I think
excited for UK gigs because it means the travelling is the annoying bit, but I think it's just I can now spend the summer with most gigs. I can take a mate or take the whole group of us, and it's going to be quite a fun summer of still being able to enjoy the UK's bounce back, because I don't think it's ever going to be like this again. I think this summer's going to be pure carnage everywhere you go.
Yeah,
I'm actually happy part of it, opposed to kind of like being told,
oh god, yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like with myself, like it's just nice to be focusing on the UK as well, and even home, Liverpool. Like I haven't played in Liverpool. Well, I played once in lockdown, but I never really play in Liverpool anymore, and it's something that I really need to focus on, because it's my home and I kind of just want to play here more. But yeah, we've got like a pretty big show lined up with Circus. So we've got like a Circus LOLiFE event on. So there's Sasha in the main room all night, and then there's me in the second room, the substation, me and Sean. And yeah, that is going to be, well, this event sold out in 6 minutes, like you were saying before, like events just selling out. I think there's like thousands of people going. It's going to be the first weekend of hopefully no social distancing. Do you know what though? Do people still have to wear masks? Because I don't really know that weekend.
It's crazy, isn't it? One week you've got to keep your distance and wear a mask, and then like
yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, we've got an event that same weekend. So we're like, because if it gets pushed back, all them tickets, it's like,
yeah,
that kind of happen. But yeah, I'm not sure on the mask situation.
I know. Hopefully you don't need masks, but it's literally gonna be like the 90s when Raven was proper. Like, no phones, people just want to take in that moment. Yeah, I think a lot of people are just going to go mad when we open.
One thing I wanted to ask you about was the when you did the Liverpool kit sponsor.
Yeah.
That is goals. I would actually,
yeah.
Actually, I'm like, I want to get a sponsor anyway, and I always spend a lot of money on clothes. So I'm like,
yeah.
I could have one thing, it would be to be sponsored by clothes, but I think it would be sick to be on a Manchester United advert. How did that one?
It wouldn't. It'd be terrible. Be shite that. So that came about. So random, really random, but it was from Instagram. So Pro Soccer Pro Soccer, who obviously like quite a big football sports brand, they got in touch with me and were like, Lauren, like we've been looking through your profile and like we think you'd really suit. Would you let us? Would you come and let us take photos of you in the new Liverpool kit, the new Nike Liverpool kit? Bearing in mind, like this is the first time Liverpool have been sponsored by Nike, and like as a childhood Liverpool fan, like massive Liverpool fan, everyone was so excited about this Nike sponsorship anyway. And then they slide into me DMs and are like, will you come and wear the kit? I was like, fucking too right. I was like, yeah, full kit wanker, as they say. It's like, get me the shinnies. So do you know what, though, the day was brilliant. And like, strangely enough, I actually did 2 shoots in one day for two separate brands, and they were both for the Liverpool kit. And I've never had anything really like that before, and the fact that it both was on the same day was weird anyway. So the girl got in touch with me and I was like, yeah, definitely come and do it on Wednesday or whatever. And then a friend of mine knew a photographer called Madeline Penfold, like seriously talented photographer. Don't know if you've heard of her before. And she was doing another shoot for Nike, and she always shoots like, she shot like Messi, Ronaldo. She's done all the football stars, and she was doing who was it for now? Can't remember now. It was like an American sports brand and a huge brand. Like these pages have got like millions of followers, and she was like I'd like to shoot you as well. So I did both of them on the same day. But it was quite exciting because like I met up with the team. Sean took the day off work, obviously, because she's like Liverpool's #1 fan and couldn't miss out on this kit reveal. So they give me the kits, they give me like the away kits, the home kits and everything. And obviously, like I was in Liverpool city centre and everyone's dying to see these kits. No one's seen them yet. And pictures were getting leaked on the internet, but no one actually knew what the actual kit was. So it was a pretty exciting time for Liverpool fans. And they give me this kit in like a cafe, and they were like, just go and put the kit on in the cafe. So like went upstairs, it was like on Bold Street. I think it's called like Maggie Mays or something, this little cafe. And the cubicle was tiny and I didn't want to put all my stuff on like the toilet and everything. So I just like literally stood where the sink was, like got undressed, threw this like Liverpool kit on the trackie and everything. I was like, oh my God. Like felt like a footballer, like oh it was funny. And then I come down and the girl was like, right, you need to put your coat on because like people can't see you in this kit. So I was like walking around town to all these spots to get photos, and like I had to get some pictures by the dock in Liverpool, the Albert Dock. And it was so funny because I literally had to like stand by this barrier thing and like take my coat off quickly, do a little pose, pretend to be a model, fucking far from a model, just like just looking like that. And then she's like taking pictures of me, like they're all doing videos and everything. And obviously that makes me look like a fucking celeb or something. So I'm on this Albert Dock, all these scousers walking past, seeing me with the kit on, they're all going, hey, like that, taking pictures. I was like howling, laughing. Sean was like, oh my God, this is hysterical. We'd finished taking the photos, after throw the coat back on and walk to like the next destination. But yeah, it was boss little day. And, it was so good for me for like, just for my spirits, because like at the time it was like we were, it was just pretty shit really with the work situation. And I even said to them, I was like, oh, do you know what, like this has been amazing, like just such a good day, like I've absolutely loved it. And yeah, it was just such an experience really. I can see why people go into doing influencing as a career option, put it that way, because it was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It was, it's goals that as well, especially if you're
Yeah.
a Liverpool fan. Did they know you're a Liverpool fan then ahead of it?
Yeah, I think that's why they picked me, because we just won the league, and there was like this place that we went to watch the game in Anfield, and they had like a replica Premier League trophy, and me and Sean got a picture with it that was on my Instagram. So I think they've seen that, and I just like random things I've posted about Liverpool, so I think they kind of just knew, and they were looking for they were just looking for like Liverpool influencers and like proper scousers. So
you're officially an influencer, would you say?
yeah, I'd love to be one, honestly. Fucking easiest job in the world. Love it.
So lastly, I wanted to ask you about releases. Anything people
Yeah.
should keep their eyes out for?
Yeah, so I've just finishing a remix for, well, I haven't announced this yet, but whatever, I'll announce it. DJ Stu's got an EP coming out on LOLiFE next.
Oh, nice.
I've done the remix. I'm just finishing it. I'll send it to you for a bit of feedback, actually, see what you think. And what else have we got? We've got a EP coming out from Distilled Noise, who's like a bit of a YouTube star, on 11. We've took quite a break, over this period with both the labels, but I feel like now is the time to start like pushing it again. So yeah, we've got the Distilled Noise EP coming out. I've done a remix on that. It's quite vocally. It's quite a lot more vocally than the stuff I'd usually kind of make, but it's a really really good EP. So that's our 10th release on 11, and then in June, it's our 11th release, and obviously it's called 11 Records, the label. So we've been collecting 11 artists, 11 sorry, not 11 artists, 11 tracks, with some huge names, like really flourishing artists. So that comes out in June. So 11 tracks for 11 records. We've just been doing like a big rebrand and everything at the moment with 11. So we're really gonna go in hard once we get everything announced. And then what else have I got coming up? I've got like a track coming on Politics of Dancing's, I think like a VA thing they're doing for like the birthday or something. I don't know, it's like 6 years or something. So I've got a track coming out on that. I'm just working on another EP in the background, and I'm gonna try and get another EP for Locust, because Enzo's been asking me for some more music, and also working on something for another label, which I won't say yet. But yeah, like a Dutch label. And then just like, little bits of remixes here and there, a few VA tracks, and just working on these EPs in the background, really. That's it, I think, for music.
Do you tend to consistently just do full days in the studio, or just more when you feel like it?
Sometimes full days, sometimes just when I've got stuff to work on, and it just depends, really. And I know I should be doing it 9 to 5, but we're doing the lessons 1-to-1. I feel like a lot of my creative energy goes on those, and then I'll do like a few 3-4 hours on my own stuff. But I don't usually get up and do like 9 to 5 in the studio. I'll probably do like a few hour chunks here and there. But like the likes of, yesterday I was working on the remix, but I'll have like days off and stuff where I'll just go to the park and meet up with me niece and my family and stuff, and kind of just try and get out of this room, because it's not good for you to just be in a room.
Teaching does absorb a lot of your, it kind of like sucks your energy. I feel like 2 hours of, say I record a video which takes an hour, it feels like it's like a 3-hour equivalent of an intense studio session. I think because the fact you've really got to be zoned in the whole time.
Definitely. Like I think when, to be honest, I'm not doing as many lessons now. I'm not really advertising it anymore, but I just want to focus on my own stuff at the moment. So I'm not really doing as many lessons. I've got like a couple of the regulars that I do now and again, but I did just find that I was like creatively drained a little bit, and I was like putting my all into their stuff, and I just thought, you know what, I need to be focusing on my own bits for when everything goes back to normal.
Yeah,
So that's what I've been doing.
complete same. I've just started saying no to mix down work and stuff like that, and just focusing on
Yeah,
Syntho, and then just the people which have been regulars for a while, and then my
yeah,
own stuff. Because it does take up, even just a 2-hour lesson, it can kind of just, it might be like take your whole vibe for the day. Like believe it
yeah.
or not, it can be quite draining, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But then at the same time, it's super rewarding as well. Like all the clients that I've had, people I've worked with, are just the brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, and like some of them, are so good, and I'm suggesting labels for them to send stuff to, and I've been been sending stuff to labels for them and everything. Like, I wish I had that when I was starting off. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'll definitely help a lot of people, but. When I, unlike yourself, I think when I go back to normal, I don't think I'll be doing these lessons as much. Maybe I'll do them now and again, but I don't think I'll be doing it, because I'll just want to, you know, when I'm tired and I need to focus on my own bits, I'm a bit of a write-off on a Monday morning, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it actually gives me more structure. I actually love what I'm doing because it gives me more structure to my life. Doing the
yeah.
podcast, doing the Syntho videos, it actually gives me structure. And the only thing I don't like about the DJ lifestyle is because it's kind of a free reign to do what you want
Mhm.
whenever you want. And I think because I get up early, things like that, it's very nice to have that structure. But yeah, there is sometimes just like, oh, I want to do nothing today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just just getting out the house and going for a walking my dog and just getting some exercise. Started training recently as well, like doing like quite weight training and stuff because I feel like I've just put loads of weight on in lockdown because just eating shite in the night. Like I never really used to. It's like it's boredom. It's utter boredom, just sitting on the couch and reaching for a bag of sweets.
Bored of me
But
as well. I don't eat shit because I like eating shit. I just eat shit when I'm bored. It's always at the
yeah,
weekend. Nothing to do at the weekends at the moment.
yeah.
Eating cake and stuff all day.
Yeah, God, definitely, yeah. But yeah, I definitely have I have good structure to my day, but then I'll have a lot of breaks like just playing on COD and stuff with my mates. But I feel like I need that because, you know, it's just me and Sean in the house and however, you know, you definitely wouldn't ring your mates as much as what you'd play with them on the PlayStation type thing, do you know what I mean? So it's a good laugh, good little release of you know, studio time. So
What console are you on?
PS4.
Oh, I'm trying to get a PS5, but I'm starting to.
Oh no, I'd love one.
I don't know if I'll just buy a PS4, but I've waited this long now for a PS5. I had one at the start of lockdown. I borrowed someone's, so I give it him back.
Yeah.
Uh, but I can't justify buying a PS4 when there could be a PS5 available very soon.
Apparently Argos and Very are gonna be getting some in soon.
I say this every week.
Cut this out your podcast so no one can get them. I'm joking.
Um,
Yeah, I'd love one, but to be honest, my Sean's nephews have got PS5s and they're just not they're not different to the PS4 at all. I didn't notice the difference. They're probably faster,
well,
probably slightly better graphics, but I didn't notice much
it's the same
difference.
with like the new iPhone. It's always the same but different. It's got like one button different.
Mm.
Even Ableton 11, people are saying, "Is it worth it?" I'm just like, right, you only get a new iPhone, and you kind of get it, and then the next kind of forgot you got it. It's the same principle.
Yeah. I do like the scale tool though on the new Ableton.
There is
That's
some,
so good.
but it's 180 quid. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't say it. I don't think it
I
probably.
I don't fully know all the pros to Ableton 11 yet and all the new features because I just do what I do anyway on it. It was a bit pointless me even getting it, but I do like the little scale too.
Having the same thing,
Yeah.
kind of like the new iPhone. You don't change anything, do you? You just
No.
start Instagram.
Same background. You might as well have the same phone. Same loads of shite pictures on it.
So to finish, Lauren, I usually use some quick fire questions that are non-music
Go on.
related.
Go on.
One is, what is your go-to breakfast?
Poached egg on toast.
Every day, or is that a special occasion?
Nearly every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a respect for people that take time to make something nice for breakfast. It doesn't take any longer than making a normal breakfast, but people seem to think people that just make crap. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I
I-
put my all into everything I make. I'm a proper foodie, really into cooking.
Does that backfire though when you're making some over-the-top tea?
Can do sometimes when you've got about 100 pots and pans, but it's always worth it when the food's gorgeous, I think.
What is your favourite quote?
Off the top of my head, I would say work to live, don't live to work.
Oh, this is one that I've really been made aware of in the past year or so. I think I shared something to my story today. It was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And the guy replied saying, "No, I'm busy." But it's like, "Are you being productive?" And it's like, "No, I'm busy." I
I
think
think I saw that in your story, yeah.
busy doing work all day. Kind of, yeah. What you just said. What is it? Work to live, not live to work. Was it the way around?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
No.
I'm gone. Work to live.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Excuse me. Work to live, don't live to work. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
The jobs, and it's like you're just living to work at the moment. Just
Yeah.
work and go and live after it. But yeah,
I
maybe
say it. I say it to Sean all the time because she is honestly the most hard-working person I've ever known in my life. I always say if I had to hire someone, she'd be my first choice because she does not stop. And I always say to her, find the balance. You know what I mean? You need to find the balance.
yeah, and I think the big thing is though, a lot of people kind of identify with the work they do, and it is kind of part of them. So it's kind of hard to draw the line from the outside. Like, oh, you're working.
Yeah.
Some people, that's like that's what makes them. That's just like playing. And I think that's when
Yeah.
people really succeed. With music production, for me, it never feels like work. It's just playing.
Yeah.
When it kind of comes play, it's really easy to do for like.
And when it feels like work, sometimes you're a bit like, oh, like this feels like work. Do you get the same feeling sometimes when you've got a bit of pressure on finishing something, or when someone's asked you for something, it's a bit like, I should be just doing this because I'm feeling it, not because I'm being told to do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. What's one item you couldn't live without that's non-electronic?
Non-electronic. My dog isn't an item, is it? No.
Yeah.
One item I couldn't live without. Fucking hell. Put me on the spot here.
Lights, sunglasses,
What?
any sporting item, clothing item.
I'd probably say lip balm. I always have to have lip balm on me. Couldn't live without it.
Someone said coffee machine, which is probably what I couldn't live without.
I want a coffee machine.
But it's
That's electrical though.
I thought
It would be cheating.
that. What is your favourite company?
My favourite company? Oh, fucking hell. Nike. Give me that sponsorship.
Bonus question: if you could be sponsored by one brand, who would it be?
Probably have to be Nike again.
Yeah.
I think so. An all-rounder. Yeah.
Funny, I won't buy Adidas. I won't wear Adidas. I only wear Nike. Like,
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I do have some Adidas stuff, but I don't know what it is. I think it looks a bit more chavvy than Nike, and I don't know what it is about it. I think
I'm really fussy with, ideally, it matches. So I'll have Nike socks with Nike shorts and Nike trainers and Nike top. I've been buying Lululemon though, but that's got no logo on it, so that doesn't bug me. Well, it does.
You've been buying what? What was that mean?
You know, Lululemon. It's kind of like
I've never heard of that.
yoga running. It's kind of like
Oh.
It's not got a big logo on it, so that's okay with Nike. But I couldn't do Adidas top with Nike shorts and then
no
socks. Not at all.
I'm not really into like flashy logos and stuff. I'm not really into designer stuff at all. I like quite like funky clothes now and again, but I'm not someone who would buy a top with like Balenciaga all over it. Do you know what I mean? That's not really me.
I like Burberry though, classic British.
Yeah, Burberry's cool.
I'd be sponsored by them. So
yeah.
Rashford's got the sponsor now. Rashford's got.
Oh yeah. God, Jerry smashed it, hasn't he?
And my final question is: what do you know now that you wish you knew then?
Oh my God, put me on the spot.
People thinking this one.
What do people usually say?
It's usually quite something that's quite like
deep.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think put me on the spot.
What's yours then?
No one's actually asked me this yet. I think it's that everything has figured itself out in the end. Trust your future self to figure things out, because no matter what, I thank my younger self for the hard work he puts in. But then I always know that me in a year's time, no matter what happens, I'll make sure I figure everything out, whether it be in music, life, relationships. I always figure it out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't know this when I was younger, because I'm the type of person who like thinks everything kind of. I don't think a path is written out for me, but I think things happen for a reason sometimes. And maybe I'd just tell my younger self that you're on the right path. You just keep your head down and try not to worry about things that you can't change or control.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Yeah. It's funny, I need to really think about this answer, because I've asked everyone the answer and I'm not even...
You don't know yourself.
Answer, right?
Yeah.
So people should keep their eyes out for upcoming releases. As your event, the circus one.
Yeah, so sold out that LOLiFE event on the 21st of June, I think it is. And yeah, keep your eye on LOLiFE. I'm going to be doing more shows in Liverpool. Got the EP coming out from DJ Stu, the massive EP and VA from 11 Records, and yeah, just loads of other good, exciting stuff. And I've actually got a bit of a residency in London, which hasn't been announced yet, but should be announced soon, which is looking really good for summer as well.
Summertime, yeah.
Yeah.
The,
So keep your eye on the ball.
Thanks for your time, Lauren. It was a really
Thank you
fun
for
one.
having me.
Enjoyed speaking.
Yeah, it was good.
Sure.
Just felt like a chat. I was hoping this would be in the night so I could have a little wine with it, but
Well, I'm kind of playing with the idea of maybe doing them in the evening, but it's kind of got its pros and cons. But because I get up early,
yeah.
I'm knackered. I'll be
Early babe, but you've been up for about 12 hours now. Go and have a little sleep.
back at 6 in the morning. I was like, yeah, but she's not going to reply for ages.
Oh god, yeah. And to be honest, when I messaged you last night at about 10:30, I thought he's definitely in bed. I could just tell you one of them that goes to bed at about 6 o'clock.
Well,
What time did you go to bed last night?
just after 9.
Did
I'm
you? Like a baby.
I turn my phone off at 8 o'clock. I turn all the apps.
Yeah.
You know, your apps to turn off at 8. You can
Yeah.
set.
Can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically after 8 p.m, no notifications come through on my phone.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm really just get strict with it because I just wake up in the night and I don't know. There's just something to. I just think about checking my Instagram or checking my email, and it's not healthy.
Yeah. No, it's not good. Definitely, you're in a good little routine there. Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really, really fun and really just easy.
Yeah, it's good to see the past because no one ever thinks. You never think about how far you've come and
yeah, it's nice to reflect sometimes.
And I bet you've not thought about the Carl Cox thing for a while, or do you think about that every day?
I don't. No, not every day. Maybe once a week. I've actually got the poster signed to my mum and dad's, and he just reminds me I need to bring it here and put it on the wall because he signed on it. We will have you back soon, so I'm holding him to that. But yeah, he's a fucking legend, Carl. He's amazing. He's got a lot of my respect. I always will do. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, Josh, and we'll have to have a good chinwag and a good bevy next time I see you.
Send me some new tunes and I'll send you some on
Yeah, I
Facebook.
will do. I will do. I'll send you the Sue remix. Take care, love.